Hey guys, Major and say welcome everyone to a really interesting video, but a video I feel like needs to be made in my opinion. So, as you can see here, we have a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate tier list. Now then, what is this tier list? This tier list is about me ranking every character in Smash Ultimate based on the possibility of them returning for Smash 5 for Smash 6, the next Smash game in the series. Now then, we have 5 tiers. We have the Smash OGs, 100% chance. They've been in every single Smash Ultimate, I mean, every single Smash game, and I don't see them getting taken out of the roster for any reason. Pretty likely tier basically means that this character has been in quite a few Smash games, or I feel like they are a good character to represent the series. Middle of the road. This is a tier where I feel like it could literally be a coin toss. We have no idea. Sakurai could literally just be like, "Nah, we're not going to include them in the next game," and we'd be like, "Oh, I thought they would," but we never know. Not likely. Just self-explanatory. These characters aren't likely to make it into the next Smash game due to multiple different factors, and that I'll explain when we get to those characters. And finally, no chance in hell. This is going to go to a certain few characters, and I'll explain why when we get to them. So, without further ado, also I have them all separated by franchise. I hope. So let's just jump in, shall we? So, first things first, let's get these OGs out of the way. They are going to the top of the list. They are obviously that's Daisy. That's the one I want. They are obviously going to make it into the next Smash game. Now then, this video, I'm going to try to cut the roster in half. There are 82 characters in Smash Ultimate, and also one more thing. I am going to count the Echo Fighters as separate characters. So, I'm actually going to move you, and I'm going to put you next to you. So, forget it. I forgot you earlier. But yeah, this is so that the roster doesn't become too cluttered. But yes, we have to cut. Well, let's see here. Like I said, there's 82 characters, so that means that we have to cut 41 characters at least. Honestly, that's a lot of characters, and I am not excited about that. Now then, if there are any characters left in middle of the road when I have cut 41 characters, or if I've cut less than or more than, I might take some of those middle of the road characters and put them either into pretty likely or not likely. That will all depend on the character and my standing on them. Now then, well, let's begin. The first group of characters that we're going to be looking at is the Super Mario characters. Super Mario is got a huge stand-in in this franchise. I mean, that's basically what this franchise is based on. The most well, stand-in on it's standing on Mario basically. It's a Mario spin-off franchise. Well, not really a Mario spin-off franchise, but it's got a lot of Mario characters and a lot of Mario related stuff inside of it. So it's pretty much Mario. Mario characters are going to be really hard for me to remove. However, there are a few I feel like we could easily put into their spots. For starters, Bowser is pretty likely to make it. He's a great character. His playstyle is very good, and just overall an iconic character, and it would be a real shame if we got rid of him. Moving on to Bowser Jr., unfortunately, him and the 7 Koopa kids, Koopalins, whatever, they are not likely to make it, in my opinion. Their playstyle is nice. However, the Koopalins have not had a good representation in any recent Mario game for a while now. Their last big appearance was in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, a port. That's not good. Well, no, the port is good. I'm just saying that their latest release was on a port of a game. That's not good. The fact that their last appearance is on a port. that part is not good. Um, but I just don't see them getting into the next game. I hate to say it, but I think this is the case. Moving on to Peach. You're gonna have Mario, you're gonna have Bowser, you're gonna have Princess Peach. Her playstyle is very unique, and I really enjoy it. It's fun, it's chaotic, but it's good, you know? Moving on to Daisy. Now, Daisy is a brand new Echo Fighter, and I don't know if they'll keep Echo Fighters in the future. Now, in my opinion, I really hope they do. But for right now, I'm going to put Echo Fighters in middle of the road, and we'll come back to them later. So I feel like they might keep her, but that will all depend on how the rest of the roster goes. For Mario, no chance. Absolutely none. Dr. Mario has had a rough run in Smash Ultimate. He came out in Melee on the GameCube. He had a great series up to this point. Then he kind of died once we got past the GameCube era and got into the Wii era. At this point, he kind of died off, and people were like, "Oh yeah, Dr. Mario, that was a fun game, but I don't think he's going to return." Smash 4 for Wii U. Sorry, I got like a little cough in my throat. Smash 4 for Wii U and 3DS. They brought it back, which was very surprising because he hasn't had a new game anytime recently. He did actually. I'm pretty sure it was a Wii U game. I could be wrong. It was called Dr. Mario World. I don't know. And then just recently, a couple of years ago, they had a mobile game. Was that one called Dr. Mario World? I don't know. But they had a Dr. Mario mobile game. However, 2 years after that game released, they closed that game down. You can no longer download that game. It no longer exists. So, it is with good reason that I believe Dr. Mario officially is dead as a character in the Smash Ultimate series. Next up is Wario. Now, Wario is a really interesting character because while, yes, he is a Mario character, he is in his own spin off game called WarioWare, which is the series that Wario represents in Smash. So, as the lone representative of that series, I think he's got a pretty good chance of making it into the next Smash game. His playstyle is extremely unique. Not a lot of characters have a a bike, like a mobile side special. Not a lot of characters have that. So the fact that he's got one is really interesting. Also, he's just a really funny character to just watch. So I think Wario has a pretty solid chance of making it into the next Smash game. Rosalina Luma. Relevant in Galaxy and Galaxy alone. I mean, yes, she's been in a whole bunch of spin-offs, but that's about it. Super Mario Galaxy, she was a big focus. Galaxy 2, she was kind of put off to the side, but she was still in it. And then she's in a whole bunch of spin-offs. However, I don't think she's going to make it into the next Smash game. If I have to cut this roster in half, someone who hasn't had a presence for many years in recent years, they're not making this cut. Rosalina has not been in a main series Mario game since Galaxy 2. She'd get the cut. And I'm not seeing that happening. Piranha Plant, kind of a joke character, but a very funny one. I really like Piranha Plants, but in my opinion, I don't think he's going to make it. However, I could see Sakurai putting him back in Smash Ultimate's successor. It's kind of like a running gag character, but it's not likely. So if we come down to a decision, I'll probably put him in not likely. You know what? I'm just going to do it right now. Not likely. I love you, but you're not likely to make it to the next one, unfortunately. Moving away from Mario and into the DK Country series, we have Diddy Kong, whose playstyle is very monkey-like. For any big Super Smash Bros. Ultimate fan, or just Smash Bros. Fan in general, you would know that Diddy Kong was originally supposed to be a duo character with Dixie Kong, Diddy Kong's girlfriend. However, Dixie Kong could not be implemented properly due to time constraints, so she was cut, leaving just Diddy Kong. Now, if it was a duo between Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong, my opinions might have changed a little bit. However, Diddy Kong has not had a big stand-in the DK franchise since there hasn't been a lot of new media for DK in quite some years. However, I do feel like he's got a decent chance of making it into the next Smash game just because he is a monkey and monkeys are cool. Unfortunately, King K. Rool is not likely. King K. Rool is from the original Donkey Kong Country series. This is the stuff from the SNES, Super Nintendo. This is late 90s. We haven't seen him since. This man went missing in action for many years. It's not looking good for him, unfortunately. Rest in peace to Crocodog. I just called him Crocodog. Why did I call him that? I don't know. Regardless, rest in peace to the crocodile. He's not getting that. Next up is Pichu. He's basically a stronger, faster version of Pikachu, but he hurts himself in his attacks. Now, while I do feel like this is very funny, there is no chance. Pichu only came back because of Smash Ultimate. He was only in Ultimate and in Melee. The odds of him coming back aren't very good. Besides, Pikachu's in the main is in the original 12, and those are staying. So it'd be weird if we had Pichu as well stick around for a little bit longer. I I just don't see it happening. There's no chance. Next up is Mewtwo. Mewtwo was in Smash Bros. Melee, then in Smash 4 as a DLC fighter, and then once again in Smash Ultimate, obviously. Now, I do feel like Mewtwo has a pretty good chance of making it into the next Smash game, mostly because his movesets are pretty cool. And besides, we don't have any psychic types on the roster. Well, unless you count Ness and Lucas and maybe Shulk to an extent, but that's about it. But Mewtwo is a very floaty playstyle, kind of. It's very good because we don't have an antagonist for Pokemon. So Mewtwo kind of fills that role. And for that reason, I think it's pretty likely he might return. But at the same time, I am feeling kind of in the middle of the road. Sakurai could easily just say, nah, he's not coming in. But who's to say? Now then, before I continue, I just want to say this right now. I am going based on a complete 50% split of the roster. That's what this is, a complete 50% split prediction, in my opinion. Um, Now, your opinions will probably differ severely from me, but that's what this is. This is just a prediction video, in my opinion. So, I probably said that earlier. I'm just repeating myself now. I do this a lot. Anyways, Pokemon Trainer. Pokemon Trainer started in Smash Brawl, Smash Brothers Brawl. In my opinion, my favorite Smash Brothers game. The Subspace Emissary is the gameplay is very good. And the music is so nostalgic. However, when it comes to taking up 3 slots on a roster, that's where I draw the line. For that reason, Pokemon Trainer is not likely to make it. 3 slots, man. That's a lot of slots. Now, don't get me wrong. The water type we have covered by Greninja. The grass type, where is the grass type? There is no grass type. The fire type we have covered by Incineroar. And also Pen and Roy and Pyra. Yeah, we were fired practically. Oh yeah, I can't forget Ridley. We got fire covered, but and water to an extent because of Greninja and a little bit because of Inkling, but that's about it. But Ivysaur is the only grass representative in this entire series, except maybe Isabelle and Villager and Olimar. That's about it. But it's this is kind of a weird group. Either they all get in or only one of them gets in, like Charizard did in Smash 4, but not the others. Which, by the way, favoritism on their part. Not cool. Moving on to Lucario. Lucario is a fan favorite Pokemon, and I think it would be a crime if he didn't return. Lucario's aura is such a great gimmick, and it's so good. And it's such a popular Pokemon that I think he could easily get into the next Smash game. Greninja, on the other hand, unfortunately, probably actually, now that I think about it, because by the time the next Smash game comes out, Pokemon Legends ZA, which takes place in Kalos, would have already come out. I think Greninja actually has a pretty decent chance of making it. However, I'm not completely sold on the idea of him making it back in, so I'm going to say middle of the road right now. Incineroar, a big fighting cat. As much as I love him and his goofy little playstyle and his silly little posties that he does, the chances of him making it into the next Smash game, since the generation that he came out in, Gen 7, would be about 3 generations behind by the time the next Smash game comes out, I don't think it's entirely likely that he's going to make it, unfortunately. So I'm going to say not likely for Incineroar. I'm sorry, my guy. Now, from Pokemon, we move over to Fire Emblem. And this one is going to get cut in half severely. So I hope you guys are ready to to see some bloodshed on the anime characters. Starting things off, Marv, you're in. Lucina, maybe, because you're Echo. Roy, probably not. Prom, definitely not likely, because you're also because you're an Echo fighter, and also not likely. Ike, possibly. Robin, I could see because he's a very interesting character because he's a mage. Corin, we don't need to talk about Corin. And Byleth. Now, I do want to explain all of these real quick. I did that in very rapid succession. Marv has been in every Smash game since its introduction in Melee. He is the de facto Fire Emblem representative for the Smash franchise. It would be a sin if he didn't make it in. For that reason, he's getting a spot on this list, and pretty likely. Lucina, being an Echo fighter, but also having a kind of fun playstyle, I could see her making it in if Marth makes it in, but it's not likely. But we don't need like 3 Fire Emblem Awakening reps. I had his games on the Wii. Now those games are pretty good from what I've been told. I have not played them, but they've apparently been pretty good. Now, this is from the Wii era. It was introduced in Brawl, that makes sense. It is now in the Switch era. Those games are going to be like 15 years old by the time the next Smash game comes out. I don't see him coming in, but you never know. He might. Which is why I put him in middle of the road, because it's literally kind of like a coin flip for me. Let's scroll the back thing. Roy is kind of an odd case as well. He's kind of in the exact same boat as Mewtwo. He was in Melee, then he got the DLC treatment for Smash for Wii U, and now he's back in Ultimate. However, Roy hasn't had a main game since like the GBA. Now, yes, he's a fan favorite Fire Emblem character because he's been in a lot of spin-offs and he's great and he's got fire. But that's basically about it. Now, don't get me wrong. I could totally see him coming back as a possibility. However, in my opinion, I just feel like if we're going to need to cut down the Fire Emblem roster in half, unfortunately, someone needs to bite the bus. And in this case, it's Roy. Rob is technically Roy's Echo Fighter, but he's also kind of an Echo Fighter for Ike. He kind of pulls from both scenes. And for that reason, I put him in likely. Also, the fact that he's from Fire Emblem Awakening, we don't need 3 reps from that game. Moving on to Robin, the reason why I put him in pretty likely is because his moveset is so vastly different from all the other Fire Emblem characters. Robin is not your traditional anime sword fighter. He's a mage. He has spells and shit. He's got magic. He can cast Fireball. And that is pretty cool, if you ask me. For these reasons, I'm giving Robin a special treatment. As long as they change Robin's red alt from blonde blonde back into red hair like they had in Smash 4. That is my only complaints about Robin is that they changed the red alt to have blonde hair, and I don't like it. Make sure it's more closely related to the source material. I don't care. Change the red hair alt. Fix the red hair alt. The red dress with the blonde hair needs to be the red dress with red hair again. That was go-to alt Smash 4. I liked playing as Robin in Smash 4 if you couldn't tell. And yes, I was one of very few people who actually played that game because my cousins had it. Very fun game. I just wish it wasn't on the Wii U, but yeah, no. Moving on to Corrin. Corrin is one of the most hated Fire Emblem characters to join the Smash roster. And honestly, I can understand why. Well, yes, he is a dragon. He is your traditional anime sword fighter, but he's also got an interesting projectile, which you don't see from a lot of sword fighters. However, he is not that good. And the chances of him making it into the Smash game, because he was DLC for Smash 4, not good. I don't see it happening. Which is why he's in no chance at all. And how? Moving over to Byleth. Byleth is the newest MC in the Fire Emblem franchise when Smash Ultimate came out. Coming out just a year after Smash Ultimate did, and as the final character for DLC Wave 1. Fans were pissed, but you know, it made sense. Whenever a new Fire Emblem game comes out, their MCs are going to be the new rep in Smash. It's kind of inevitable at this point. Now, I do find Byleth's playstyle to be interesting. He's got a heavy attack. He's got light attacks. He's got a freaking bow and arrow. You don't see that too often on a sword fighter. The only cases being the 3 links, which, by the way, we'll get to those 2 in a minute. We'll get to these 2 later, but those next to each other, actually. However, because of how new he is, I feel like he can easily be replaced by a leader or or the next Fire Emblem rep that they decide to add in, whoever that might be. I don't think Byleth's time in the spotlight is going to last, unfortunately, for that reason. Moving over to Kid Icarus, we've got Hit, Dark Hit, and Palutena. And I'm just going to say this for now. No chance, Palutena. Palutena only shows up in cutscenes and as like character dialogue. She's not really a fighter. She doesn't really fight in Kid Icarus Uprising. And besides, Kid Icarus Uprising, there hasn't been a new Kid Icarus game since Uprising in 2013. Okay. So I think Pit and Dark Pit I think might be our first casualties of war. Yes, I'm gonna put Pit in pretty likely because Sakurai's child is right here. And because you're an Echo Feather, you go there. But yes. You know what? Actually, hold on. I have an idea. There we go. Since basically. But yeah. Um Hideo Chris Operation was created by Sakurai. So the chance that he's gonna let his child go to the wayside, probably not likely. Moving over from Kid Icarus to Star Fox. Now this is where some casualties will fall. Wolf was in Brawl, and now in here. However, we need to cut the roster. And unfortunately, Villain, who only showed up in one other Smash game, probably not going to make the cut. Falco has been in every Smash game since Melee. And while that is nice, his playstyle is extremely similar to Fox. I think for that reason, if we're going to cut this roster in half completely, being honest, I don't know if he's got that good of a chance. I'll put him middle of the road for now, but I might change my mind later. Moving over from Star Fox to The Legend of Zelda. We've got five fighters here, and I'm just going to say this right now. Only two of them are making it out of here alive. For starters, Young Link, Ocarina of Time. That's not happening. Toon Link, Wind Waker. That's not happening. Ganondorf is, though. And so is Zelda. Sheik, however, on the other hand, probably not. Let me explain. Young Link is from Ocarina of Time, a game from the N64. Now, when this character was introduced in Melee as a smaller version of normal Link, who also was from Ocarina of Time at that point, that made some sense. Now, I do wish your movesets were different so that Young Link represented Majora's Mask a little bit more, but that's just me and a lot of people actually. However, there hasn't been a new game for Young Link since Majora's Mask HD Remake back on the 3DS in 2015. It's been a while. I don't think it's happening. There's no chance. Toon Link is kind of a weird case. He came out in Brawl. He was in Smash 4. But here's the thing. The Wind Waker came out just a few years after Melee. Melee came out in like early 2000, 2001, I think. Wind Waker came out in 2003. Okay? He can't make it in Melee. That makes sense. So they put him in Brawl. And Brawl is, that makes sense because Phantom Hourglass and Sphere Tracks just came out around that time. That makes sense. However, he was also in Smash 4. Um, Here's the thing. There was no game with Toon Link after Brawl came out. So the fact that he was even here baffles me. I don't think he's gonna make it. So, see ya. Can't have Smash game without a big baddie. Ganondorf is the big baddie. He's got some insane moves. He's got his giant sword. That was a horrible imitation. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I'm just here now. Bye. But yeah. So he is probably gonna make it in. I would be surprised if he didn't, honestly. And Zelda is a magic user. We don't have a lot of magic users, but we need more. Magic users are pretty fun, actually, and so is Zelda. Now, I really do like her design in this game. However, I prefer Twilight Princess, but Twilight Princess is a little outdated, so that makes sense when they changed it to this. However, they went with Ocarina of Time Ganondorf design, which I thought was interesting when they could have used something a little bit more modern. Well, actually, technically, they couldn't. It either was going to be, no, actually, screw it. Never mind. Don't listen to what I'm saying about Ganondorf design. I don't know. My headphones battery is low. Strange. Okay. Anyways, and that's about it for those two. But then we go down to Sheik. Sheik is Zelda's alter ego. However, Sheik was only in Ocarina of Time. She wasn't in any other Zelda game. For that reason, I don't think he's gonna make it. Now, yes, we could use a ninja character. However, if we're gonna make 41 cuts to this roster, someone is going to need to get cut that should stay. And unfortunately, I think Sheik is that sacrifice that we're going to have to make, which is why I put her in not likely. Ice Climbers! Ice Climbers is a weird group. Let me explain. Ice Climbers came out in Melee. They were in Brawl. They weren't in Smash 4, but that was because they couldn't implement the duo capabilities for the 3DS version properly, and they didn't want to make them an exclusive character for the Wii U. And honestly, I don't blame them for that. But they're also a retro character. And you know what? Why don't I just talk about all the retro characters back to back to back? So, but it's kind of in a weird spot, to be honest. Like, do I put him in middle of the road because of the fact that they weren't in Smash 4? You gotta remember, their only game was on the NES 30 plus years ago. I just don't know how many characters are going to keep because at this point we have four retro characters to pick from, and if we're going to keep, well, technically we have more, but like, but if we're going to keep any of them, unfortunately, someone's going to need to bite the dust, and unfortunately, I think Ice Climbers is going to be a casualty of war here. While their duo playstyle is very fun and unique, I just don't see it surviving this Thanos snap that we're doing basically. Mr. Game and Watch. Mr. OG Gaming. That's Second Fighters. Whoops. I see him get in it. He's been in every Smash game since Melee, and I don't see that changing for a minute. He is the original OG retro game rep. And I think he is the retro game rep for the franchise moving forward. I don't see a Smash game without him. They're going to need a retro game fighter. They're going to get Game and Watch, at least. I'm stuttering and I'm sorry. Rob was an accessory for the NES. What game was he introduced in? Brawl. Like 20 plus years after the NES came out. Why did they do that? Now, don't get me wrong. I love Rob in the Subspace Emissary. Great story. However, if we're being realistic here, I don't see it happening. Rob was an accessory and a toy for two games on the NES. I'm feeling pretty middle of the road about him making it into the next Smash game, to be honest. But the chances of him making it in aren't too high, in my opinion. Mega Man. Now this is a retro character that we need to stay. Put him really up there, pretty likely. Introduced in Smash for Wii U and 3DS, I think he's got a good chance. As one of the most recognizable retro characters on the Smash roster, he easily can secure himself a spot if he plays his card right, which I hope is the case. Pac-Man is also is probably the most recognizable retro game character on the Smash roster. And I don't see them replacing him anytime soon. If we have the blue from Mega Man, the red from Mario, you gotta get that yellow in from from Pac-Man. Replacing him is a mistake on all fronts. Keeping three retro characters is perfectly fine in my opinion. Which means Duck Hunt or Duck Hunt Duo, depending on where you live, is not likely to make it. Having only one game appearance and an arcade cabinet, he had only one chance on the NES, so chances of that probably not high. Inkling, this is the newest Nintendo franchise that just skyrocketed in popularity. In my opinion, it would not be a Smash Ultimate game if there was not a Splatoon rep. Splatoon, Inkling is going to make it in, and I really hope they introduce Octolins as like an Echo. That would be great. But yeah, this is a sin if you don't keep them in. They are literally keeping Nintendo afloat right now. They are so popular. So why don't we move away from single reps for a minute and go back to a duo rep? Why don't we go over to Kirby? This one's going to piss off some fans. So, as of right now, we have one, two. We have 27 characters in confirmed spots. plus 7 more if you count Middle of the Road and Echoes, for a grand total of 34 characters. We're getting dangerously close to 41, and we still have so many characters here. For that reason, both of the Kirby reps aren't going to make it in. We need to cut a roster, and this is the sacrifice we have to make. Rest in peace, DDD and Meta Knights. Moving on to Animal Crossing. We're splitting this in half. We're splitting them in half. One of them is staying. Which one's it going to be? Well, in my opinion, the villager is much more, well, customizable because it's supposed to be like the player character. I don't think the villager's going to make it in. But instead, Isabelle. Isabelle is more popular as a character. I feel like Isabelle would be the de facto representative for Animal Crossing because how recognizable her character is, and she's just a good character. I don't see her being replaced. This is kind of a toss up for me. I couldn't really pick between Villager or Isabelle, but I feel like Isabelle being the rep for Animal Crossing makes a little bit more sense to me. Little Mac, Little Mac, Little Mac. An NES game, an SNES game, and a Wii game. As a boxer, you leave a lot to be desired, considering there's more fighting game characters later down the line, considering these two. Which, by the way, I'm going to move. I'm just going to put them like that. All the fighting game characters are in a line. You don't stack up too well. You're not good. It's not likely Little Mac's going to make it in. He was an assist trophy in Brawl, a playable character in Smash 4, and an Ultimate. That's about it. I mean, props to him for getting the upgrade treatment from assist trophy to playable character, but it just wasn't meant to be, unfortunately. Not with Little Mac. Maybe with Waluigi. Hint, nudge, nudge, Nintendo, please. Moving on over to Lucas. Lucas is another rep from the Earthbound series, this time representing Mother 3. However, if we're cutting this roster, Lucas ain't making it. Lucas wasn't in Smash 4's original roster. He came in as DLC. He was introduced in Brawl and was introduced, like I said, as DLC in Smash 4. It's not good. That's not a good sign. That basically means we cut him before, we're going to cut him again. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's no way Lucas is going to make it. Now, the Miis. Let's talk about this. This is very, very gimmicky. The Miis are in on the next console, which guaranteed that's where the next Smash game is going to be, if the next console has Miis. Now, here's the thing. Miis were a huge focus of the Wii family of consoles, the Wii and the Wii U. They weren't as big on the Switch, but you could still use them. They still have that option, which I love. However, they aren't as big as a future, and I guarantee Nintendo is moving away from them, which is why all three of them are in no chance in hell. As much as I want them to be in the next one, I don't see it happening. We have way too many sword fighters. We already have quite a few characters with guns, which are probably going to make it in, or at least projectiles, which are probably going to make it in. And we have quite a few fighters that probably have a good chance. We'll get to them soon. But it's for these reasons that I don't think they're going to make it. Now then, Olimar. Introduced in Brawl just after, slightly after a Pikmin 2 port was on the Wii. That's when they introduced him. A few years later, right before Smash 4 came out, Pikmin 3 came out, and they also introduced Alph as an alternate costume to Olimar. And then in Smash Ultimate, there was no new Pikmin game. However, we got Pikmin 3 Deluxe. For a couple of years. I want to I want to say just around the release of pick of Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate. I could be wrong. I don't remember. But he came out. And well, Olimar wasn't a playable character. Alf was, which is why the alternate costume is still Alf. Now then, we get to um Pikmin 4. Olimar is in Pikmin 4, and it's a recent game, and it's very good. And his playstyle is very unique. And for that reason, I think Olimar's got a pretty good chance of making it into the next Smash game. Now then, what the hell am I going to do about Metroid? Well, for starters, you're an Echo. You get in if Samus gets in, Dark Samus is in. Zero Suit Samus, I'm not seeing it happening. And neither am I seeing Ridley happening. As much as I want Ridley to be in the next Smash game, I don't see it happening. It pisses me off. Zero Suit Samus, you don't see a lot of. You only see her really in like Mission Other M, which without the Wii, I don't think you saw her in her Zero Suit at all in Dread. You definitely don't see it in Prime, I don't think. I mean, while Ridley is a great character, if we're going to cut this roster, it's going to be on the Space Dragon, unfortunately. Rest in peace, Space Bozo. Sorry, I've got like Legend of Evantris chuckles on the mind. Space Bozo. Such a stupid guy. Bayonetta. Bayonetta was a Smash 4 Wii U and 3DS final DLC character. Everyone thought it was going to be Sora, but no, it was actually Bayonetta this whole time. Now, I have never played the Bayonetta series. I have tried playing her in Smash Ultimate and we on the Wii U. Well, actually, no, not on the Wii U, but definitely Ultimate. Her playstyle is very odd. I'll say that right now. Her playstyle is very odd, and while she does have 3 games plus a prequel game, I don't think her chances of getting in are going to be too high. As being one of the very few M-rated game characters on the roster, her chances were already slim. However, due to I think probably some negative feedback from the fans, her chances of making it into the next game probably aren't going to be too high. I'll say middle of the road for now, though, but we'll see. Time will tell if she makes it or not when the list becomes a little bit more full. Min Min and Arms Rack. Remember Arms? It's a fighting game Nintendo made that they tried to push to hopefully try to make a franchise out of it, and it didn't work. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all saw this one coming. Ryu and Ken. Let's start fighting game characters for a little bit. These guys are iconic. Ryu was in the DLC for Smash 4, while Ken was an Echo Fighter in the base game for Smash Ultimate. I will say this right now. Only one of them is going to make it in, and it's Ryu. Ryu being the de facto fighting game rep makes a lot of sense. We're going to need one at least, and it's going to be Ryu. Ryu is Mr. Fighting Game himself. Siri, I have never heard of Fatal Fury or King of Fighters before Terry was introduced. I'm sure a lot of people felt this way. Now, don't get me wrong, his playstyle is very cool. However, he's very basic fighting game character. I'm not talking about you. His freaking Siri went off. Which is funny because I tried to get her to talk earlier and she didn't respond. And I was like, what the hell? Anyways, the chances of him making it in, probably not the greatest. Kazuya, being the DLC character in the second wave, Smash Ultimate, his chances are good. He's a very popular fighting game character. His playstyle is aggressive and powerful. However, like I said, he was DLC, but that doesn't cut him out of the run-in. I think he's got a pretty decent chance, so I'll put him in the middle of the road for now. And we'll come back to him later. Next up is Simon and Richter. Now, this is once again a Echo and a non-Echo that were introduced in the same game. Now, only one of them is going to make the cut. And in my opinion, I think the Echo is actually going to make it in. Simon is a little older game wise than Richter. Screw it. I'll just keep the default. Simon is a little older, so a little bit more fans will recognize him. And by the way, when I first saw Castlevania was coming to Smash, I was like, oh, hell yeah, give me that. Their playstyles are very interesting and very different from most other characters on the roster. So if we're going to have a character from Castlevania, I feel like Simon's the de facto choice. I mean, he was like in the originals. I think I don't know. I've never played Castlevania, but it seems like fun. I have not even seen the Castlevania anime. What is wrong with me? Anyways, Snake. Snake has a very interesting past with Smash. Coming out as as the first third party character in Smash Brawl. He wasn't in Smash 4 though. Now he's back. He was specifically chosen as a character in the original trailer for Smash Ultimate for when everyone is here. The chances of him making it in to another Smash game after Ultimate are slim. Snake doesn't have a lot of games that come out frequently enough. This size. The last game he was probably in was in Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid 5. And that came out in like 2016, 2015. Regardless, it's probably not likely, considering his past with the franchise. Sonic, that guy's making it in. He is way too fast. He's gonna avoid the ban. He's gonna see Thanos snap coming, he's gonna run the other way and he's gonna make it out somehow. He's the blue blur. He's iconic. He's Mario's rival character. He is making it in onto the roster, much to our dismay. Wii Fit Trainer. Keywords. Wii Fit. The game series on the Wii. The Wii name in the title. Uh-huh. Yeah. There absolutely no chance they're gonna make it. Joker from Persona. This one really threw me off. As the first DLC character in Smash Ultimate, I thought this was going to be Persona 5 DLC. It was not. It was Smash Ultimate DLC. And I was like, holy shit, man, that was nuts. Now then, do I think it's possible Joker makes it into Smash Ultimate? The possibility is there. However, there is another DLC character a little bit later down the line that I feel like has a little bit of a better chance. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Joker. It's just not likely, man. I'm sorry, I'm just being realistic here. Hero from Dragon Quest. He is a anime sword fighter. But he's got RNG skills and a lot of magic, making him very similar to Robin in a way, but much more focused on sword play instead of magic. But he does have magic, a lot of magic. He's got so many skills. Holy crap, man. The chances of him making an in, because every once in a while they do make a new Dragon Quest game. Speaking of which, by the time the next Smash game comes out, the next Dragon Quest 3, 2, and 1 remaster will all be out. Which, by the way, I can't wait to play. Those look like fun as hell. Regardless, there is going to be a Dragon Quest rep at some point. It's inevitable. This series is huge. We're at 15 games at least. Banjo and Kazooie. These guys have a very interesting past. Not with Smash Ultimate, but with their own franchise. Originally coming out on the N64, then I think they went over to the PlayStation 2. not PlayStation 2, PlayStation, and then they went over to the Xbox 360 for a really bad game. It's not looking good. They haven't had a game since. Their chances of making it in, well, as fun as they are, and as great as the time was, the chances of them making it in are just not good, in my opinion, at least. So I'm gonna have to say goodbye to those two. Bye bye. Steve from Minecraft, the character who literally broke Twitter. Oh, this one's hard, man. Now, don't get me wrong. I would love to have a rep from the biggest game in the world be in this fighting game. However, his playstyle is so janky and weird. And just, I mean, have you seen the, like, people saying get him banned? Ridiculous. He's broken. If they are going to bring him back into Smash's, the next Smash game, they need to rework him a little bit. Make him a little bit more enjoyable to play against, you know? But enough of that. I would absolutely see Smash being in Steve's future. Now then, we only have 3 franchises left. I'm just gonna say this right now. The chances of the rest of these characters being in is not great, but we'll see. Hold on. Okay, so we have 38 characters here if we include the 4 echoes, which means we have 3 slots left. And you look how many characters we have left. That's enough. We could do that. So, we gotta also consider the middle of the road characters, but I think I already have an idea about who's gonna stay here. So, Cloud, the main character from Final Fantasy VII and one of the biggest games in the world. Now, it's possible that he makes it. However, I'm not too sure. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not impossible, but I think Cloud has a chance to make it into the next Smash game. It's a chance, but it's there. Sephiroth, however, with a big freaking sword, we're cutting this roster in half. One of the two had to get cut, and it was not to be Cloud. Sorry, Sephiroth. Your playstyle is great and all. Your long sword is freaking insane. Unfortunately, I can't. I just can't, man. All right. Shulk. Shulk is a really interesting character. The protagonist is Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Now, in each Smash game since the release, there has been one Xenoblade Chronicles rep. However, we didn't get the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 rep until the third to last DLC in Smash Ultimate. Not near the start, near the end. So one of them is going to get cut. And also, while I do like the transformation gimmick from Xenoblades 2, I have to give the edge to Shulk. There is just no way that the switching mechanic is going to work properly. It's not that it's not going to work properly. There's just no way that it's going to work effectively on the next game. Like all of the characters that have had a switching mechanic have been separated. I'm sure the only exception has been Shulk and Zelda and Samus and Zero Suit Samus. But regardless, all those characters that have a switch in have been separated. If they're going to make it in, they're going to be 2 separate characters. Okay? Which is why I don't think it would be fair if they made it in. It'd be one or the other, not both. For that, they're not making it. Sora. I'll switch you there for a second. Now then, before we do anything with Sora, let me do something. Falco is going to make it in. I feel like it's justifiable because his personality is so much different. His playstyle is different. He's got different attacks. I feel like it's justified. Now we're at 41. The rest of these characters, I'm putting it in not likely. And Sora is the middle of the road. Will it be the final Smash, the ultimate, the final Smash character? Or is he going to sit the next one out? Well, Disney was very stingy about Sora's inclusion in Smash Ultimate. Very stingy. And for that reason, I don't see Sora making a return. As much as we would love to see him make a return, there is so much with the copyrights with Sora and Disney. There was problems, I guess. I don't know. But it was for this reason that it took so long for Sora to show up. I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. For that, Sora will fall, not likely. And it's for this reason that this is my Super Smash Bros. Ultimate opinion prediction tier list. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe. It really helps me out. It lets me know that you guys enjoy what I do, and it lets me know that I should keep doing what I do. That being said, I'll see you guys all next time. This is a very different video than what I usually do. Um, I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. This video is just about an hour long. That's wild. I was not expecting this video to take so long. Regardless, this is going to be such a fun video to edit. I'm going to go start working on that probably tomorrow. I'm tired. I have to get ready for work. That being said, I will see you guys all next time. Beam out. Peace. See ya. Goodbye.